Well, hello again, YouTube. AJ Shaver here, and yes, how the temperatures have changed from one day to the next. So it's about 22 degrees outside, hence the heavy coat, the bibs, and the insulated hat from Halverson. So this is the same 120 we were talking about the other day, and after I wrapped up the video and went down to the house, I was thinking of a couple of things that I probably could have done better. And just wanted to do a quick recap video. We've got a gentleman coming out from New Jersey, Mr. Mark. He's going to look at this for a demo, so just in case he takes this one, I don't want to be left in the lurch without having a unit around till the next one comes in. So again, HWP-120, I always bring them in with the adjustable wedge. They do offer one with a fixed wedge, but out of the hundreds that we have sold, I've only ever done one or two as a fixed wedge, and I believe the second guy that ever bought one called me back and wished he had ordered one with the adjustable. And you say, well, what's the big deal with the adjustable? Well, there's two things. One, it brings the four-way a lot higher, so you can get a nice bigger chunk out of the bottom. And then two, in the 120 and the 140 unit, it is completely removable. So for those of you that want to do something with like the outdoor stoves that you don't really want to split, something even like this size, you'd be happy with like a 10-inch round. You can just pull that wedge out, cut your rounds, and then go on. So again, I'm still trying to memorize all of the prices since the increase back in October. So I'll put everything up on the screen here at some point. But the three major models that we sell are the 120, the 140, and the 150. So real quick, baptism by fire hose, it's going to be the 120 is going to do like a 16-inch diameter round to cut it. There is 20 inches worth of usable cutting space, and that is there. So if you had something long like this or longer, you could pick up that 20-footer, that 24-footer, picture right about that perfect halfway point, buck off half the wood so it would fall off that side, process that half that you're holding, and then go chase and pick up the second piece and run that through. So you don't have to have the pile sized. You know, the recommended length should be about 10 to 12 feet. You know, ideally I can get something like this up on here with the butt end facing the wedge. It kind of puts more weight on this side than on that side. So you've heard me say it before. When you have more weight on one side, it's like the fat kid on the teeter-totter, you can go longer off the other. So eventually the end of the table here becomes the fulcrum where everything wants to pivot. So we have this one set up where when I raise the grabber arm, this will stay on the table. So it was just a worthy shot here with it being nice and long. So the 120 model, adjustable, then we upgrade into the 140B. So once you hit the B level, it's a bigger case, and we talked about that in the last video. The distance from where this sits on top of the table to the I-beam is about 6 inches. The 140 is a lot taller, so that's your pusher plate behind the log going through the round, or going through your wedge. And this one weighs about 1,100 pounds. The 140 is about 1,600 pounds. So once you go to the 140, you get an 18-inch cut diameter. You still get the adjustable wedge. You get a Parker saw motor, which is a big upgrade as far as like your cut speed and torque going through the wood for that larger diameter. And then the splitting cylinder inside this goes up one, so you go from like a 3.5-inch cylinder in this to a 4.5-inch cylinder in the 140. And it's a redesigned grabber arm where you don't have like the teeth kind of cut into the side. It's actually a lot thinner with like cleats welded on the inside, maybe about the size of like a Hershey Kiss or so, and it really gets a good clamp on it. And then in the 140, you get a cut guide. So like I'll typically put like a paint mark on the back of the table so I can see 16 inches. In that 140 unit, there's a proximity switch that sits about here. So when the table comes back, it senses that, it stops at that preset factory option for 16 inches. Now you can adjust that anywhere from like 12 out to the max 22, but that's exclusive to the 140 and the 150. So again, we'll put the prices up on the screen here just so I don't get them wrong. So bigger cut diameter, bigger cylinder, the cut guide, and a better arm for grabbing the firewood, and a heavier case in the 140. Also on the 140, we can do the left hand, which brings that wedge and the saw over to this side. It's just a mirror image of what we have here, and it works really good for things like my toolcat, a telehandler, your mini excavators, the JCB brand, the Volvo brand skid steers, just everything where you would be entering and exiting the side of the machine from over here. It just puts all that stuff right here where you can easily see it and get to it. It is a price increase for the left-hand models because there's just a little bit more welding and extra hoses that go in there, but it works out really, really nice. I enjoy running that on this unit. And then we get into the big boy, the 150. So it's about the same case. You know, the hands here get a little bit taller because it's a bigger diameter. It's a larger bar. Actually, I should have said that about the 120 and the 140. They're the same bar, the same chain. It's an 18HX 078E for the chain, but then once you get into the 150, it's a 93 count chain. So it's a lot bigger cut diameter. I believe it goes out to like 24 or 25 inch comfortably. The grabber arm clamps in line with the wood versus that push forward and away. So it gets a lot better hold on that bigger diameter stuff. They all shrink down to about where you could handle like a 4.5 inch, you know, limb or so. I don't really know that you'd be running that across the processor, but it does clamp down pretty close to the table. And then again, it's an even bigger cylinder. So we went from a 3.5 to a 4, and then a 4.5, or a 4 to a 4.5 in the 150. So again, bigger wood, bigger tonnage, everything steps up. It's the same cut guide in it, so it'll stop at that preset condition on the way back, and then clamp it down, back the table up, buck off another one, and just keep going. And again, throwing the prices up here, they always come with the 4-way, the 6-way is an option, and then they all come with the 14-pin plug. The in-cab harness is an option, and then extra saw chains, extra bars, all that kind of stuff can be added to the order as well. But yeah, that's our 3 major models. We do a 100. I don't have a lot of experience with those, just being honest. A little bit smaller, more homeownery. I don't have any tractors that I could run something on, so I just don't have one here. But they do offer that. We'll put that up on the screen. So that's just a real quick and dirty down the list of the 120, the 140, and the 150 units. Oh, and I forgot. You can also do the 150 as a left hand, and we can also do it as an extended frame. So your standard, you know, cut length is 22 on all 3 models, and then the extended frame on the 150 takes you out to a 34 inch. So just everything from that saw out gets extended like an extra foot to 14 inches. So again, if you're doing the outdoor boiler stuff and you want that longer piece, it is a lot easier to send that through. So if we can earn your business with the sales quote, give me a phone call. It's 833-SPLITTER. It's 833-775-4887. You can also email me at sales@shaverequipment.com. And as always, do not forget to hit that like and subscribe button here on the channel to stay up to date on everything we have going on. And we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.